Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. We're doing it on Wednesday, December the 11th, 2024. Oh, man. Wherever you're tuning in from, if it's your first time, buckle up, where can you find these videos? On Instagram, follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSedgwick if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. Become a member today. If you're tuning in from Canada, mi familia Wagwan down south in the United States is of the Americas, further down south, over there in Mexico, over there in South America, over there in Africa, Asia, Europe, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, the Koreas, Vietnam, over there in the Philippines, over there in Bangladesh, over there in India, a whole billion of you. There's so many of you, but that's good. Senegal, Portugal, Italy, all over the place. Zimbabwe, it's Syria. We'll get to everything as much as we can, of course. But nonetheless, I hope all my it's Wednesday. I'm feeling good. I hope you're feeling good out there as well. Let's get into it, shall we? Together. System is perfect. Don't question the system. The system's at work. Don't question the system. The system is perfect. The system is working. Don't question the work. Question the system. Don't question the system. The system is perfect. The system is perfect. The system is perfect. Don't question the system. Question the system. The system is perfect. System's at work. Get back to work now. The system is perfect. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, the system is perfect. Don't question the system. System's at work. Dun 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 dun. Tits. I've just been thinking about different things like you, of course, out there preoccupied with many things. The personal, the societal, the collective, the individual, all of it coming together. And I thought to myself, my goodness, what is going on? What time is it? It's 3:37 in the a.m. There you are, waking up with a heart on, thinking, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna surprise my spouse with giving little kisses on, work my way and start giving her head, start eating that cooch, make love to her at 3:37 because she loves it, I loves it, great, let's do it. Next thing you know, again, you're just kind of waking up. It's mid-wake up, it's still a little bit halfway dreaming. You start the kisses, down the back. You move further down south, kissy. Oh, what is this? I'm licky. You're knee deep in it now. Licky with the, it's wet. It's getting even wetter. You're licking it. All of a sudden it licks you back. Oh, what just happened there? Ladies and gentlemen, you just fell for the old, we'll let the dog sleep on the bed trick. That's what happened. And that's because you don't have glow in the dark cock/pussy tattoos. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. When you go to bed and in the middle of the night, you feel like waking up and giving your loved one some head. And then guess what? You're not going to be able to find it because you don't leave the lights on when you sleep, because you'd be psycho if you did. Or maybe you're afraid of the dark, which is also a good reason to leave a little bit of the lights on. Maybe you got a night light, but most people don't. And that's why you just open mouth kissed your little pug, little shih tzu, little I don't know, little miniature Doberman. You just open kissed a dog because you thought you had good intentions. You thought, I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night and give my old lady some head. She likes it, I likes it, and we're just gonna fall right back asleep. Maybe it was a weekend too. You had all the time, but guess what? You couldn't see anything. That's why I like to introduce the genital glow-in-the-dark tattoos for everybody, for men's and the women's out there. That's right. Instead of searching for your penis and her holes, get permanent tattoos, glow-in-the-dark tattoos on your genitalia. No longer will you be, searching like a blind person, searching for everything, because that's what blind people do. Because they can't see, they're blind, but you're not. Clearly you have eyes, you got some sort of a vision. But guess what? You don't have night vision goggle. You don't go to bed with your night vision goggles on unless you could opt in for them. But who's gonna sleep with the night vision goggles? Exactly, nobody, unless you're like some sort of, you're maybe in the military, or like maybe you're in like the special ops. Then maybe you'd sleep with a night vision goggle, but most people don't, which is why I said, you know what? Instead of licking the wrong hole, freaking yourself out, freaking your how many partners, how many people have we lost to people freaking out in the middle of the night because they licked the wrong hole or they put the wrong thing in their mouth? Next thing you know, people are tripping over themselves, falling over the bed, breaking bones, precious bones, hips. How many dislocated hips must we go through, ladies and gentlemen, until we get it together that you need to go out there and ask for the glow-in-the-dark genitalia tattoos? Do it today, save a life, and quit being that person that has to be like, call 911. I'm so sorry, you need to call 911, babes. My kneecap is in my asshole. I dislocated my kneecap. That's in my Y. I fell off the bed because I tried to give you head in the middle of the night. You have to explain this over to somebody. 911, what's your emergency? I fell off the bed, broke my back. What, were you, sir? Were you trying to give your lover head in the middle of 3:37 in the AM? Yes, how did you know? Oh, I had a cousin Billy. It happened to him too. Well, there you go. Getting our, 911 emergency services all occupied because you didn't take the time to get your genitalia tattooed with glow-in-the-dark ink. Think about it. Neon pink, neon orange, neon green, yellow, cock and puss. And it's a regular day, you're just walking around, it's just regular color. It's just your regular pigmentation, but in the dark, you don't need to do, oh, let me turn on the lights. Let's not and say we did. You know what I mean? Let me just turn on the lights a little bit. What are you gonna do? Mood killer. How many times has the mood been murdered by turning on the lights? Far too many times. I can't even count. Many a times. But you're welcome. I thought about this. That was for free because it is the holiday season after all. It's the spirit of holiday season is happy holidays. It's almost there. Hell yeah. The Merry Christmases are coming around. The Happy Hanukkahs, the Babushkas, and the Shalom Shabbat, and maybe some, I don't know, the Islams. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they've got a thing going on at the same time. Is it happening all at the same time? Well, celebrations for everyone. Then glow in the dark cock and puss tattoos for everyone. You're welcome. Shalom. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday indeed. Now, to save a life, of course, they tell you if somebody passes out, or if you see somebody choking on a little chicken bone, give them CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. That's for punks. That's the way we used to do it. What is this, fucking 1987 or some shit? It's not. I didn't think so. It's 2025 almost. Introducing the ass-to-mouth resuscitation. Do it today. Save a life. Because I know a lot of people like to hold back and say, hey, I know that lady's just passed out on the ground. I know this gentleman is no longer capable of breathing for himself. I'm not going to stick my mouth on their, because who knows what they have? Who knows what, and even if they don't have anything, what if? How many times have you CPR'd someone mouth to mouth and ended up falling in love whilst simultaneously also being in a relationship anyway? So now there you go. You just try to be a good Samaritan saving a life. Next thing you know, you're catching feelings. Because you're breathing in and out of somebody's, you're breathing for somebody else. And they're, a little bit of choke, a little bit of chicken bone pops out of their jugular. And the next thing you know, teary-eyed, they're looking at you, you're looking at them, everybody's sweaty, everybody's like, my goodness, did I save a life? Yes. Did I fall in love again? Maybe. How many times must that happen? How many relationships must fall apart because somebody decided to do a little bit of good out there? But you know what? I say keep it a little bit distant, keep it a little bit professional. Ass-to-mouth resuscitations. We'll keep it very cordial. We'll keep it very platonic. All right? No chance of catching feelings. If you wake up almost passed out from choking, and then you see an asshole in your face, first reaction is like, get it off me. Second reaction, when you come to it, you thank your lucky star somebody stuck their asshole on your lips. But then there's no catching feelings, there's no eye contact. What's the first rule of catching feelings? Eye contact. Unless you have eyes on your assholes, which is, I'm not saying people don't, I'm not saying people do, but for the most part, as far as I'm concerned, seen a few asses, not many of them have had eyes. So I'm just saying, if you want to save a life, not catch feelings, not break up your beautiful, you've been in that relationship for like 7.5 years, man. It's time to start having some babies out. It's not time to catch some feelings just because you saved a hottie. That's what I'm trying to say here. Ass-to-mouth resuscitation. Bring in the old, revising it, fixing it, making it better, and a little bit more sanitary as well. After all, I don't know where your mouth has been. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it a little bit it's cleaner, I think. And it's faster too. And you get way better, that's the thing. A lot of people like, it's hard to like get on your knees and like bend over where you could just like easily squat down because you're fit. What if you have like neck issues? And you're like, I have all the essential tools to revive a person through the CPRs, but I don't want to, I have to get on my knee. You don't have to get on your knees. Tell you what, if you can just barely do a squat, if you've been like squatting and smoking, and that's like half the population, you've seen them squat smokers, you're ready to go, son, lady, cuz, do it for the fam. Let's make a difference together, ladies and gents. It's Wednesday, of course. The system is perfect, don't question the system. The system's at work now. Ever wonder how you could have a more dominating meeting? Let's say you're a businessman or a businesswoman, and you're like, oh, how do I get my coworkers? How do I get my employees? How do I get my colleagues? And how do I get the ops attention when they're there for a meeting because we're about to sell some shit and we're about to buy some shit too? How do I make a point of it that this company's this company's not going anywhere? This company's about to fucking stick like jizz. Like jizz on a peanut butter sandwich. This company's about to stick like jizz on Velcro. Oh, try getting it off. You won't be able to. You won't succeed. This company's around here to stick for a while. That's what you. But guess what? It's hard to drive that point home without your own personal snake pit. Introducing the all-new indoor snake pit. Make it a point instead of having like a coffee table or like, oh, we'll get a conference table for the conference room. It'll be large and wide, and people will sit, and maybe we'll put like, glass with water. We'll put a little glass and we'll fill it with water and we'll quench our thirsts while we're conducting business. But guess what? Are people really taking you seriously? I don't think so. Do people really respect your work? Again, debatable. Are they there for you? Do they care about you and what you are about to say? Or are they in it just purely for the paycheck? Well, you want to get their love and you want to get their respect. Nothing says love and respect, your own personal indoor snake pit, right in the middle of the meeting room. Bring it in. It's an acquisition of the two. It's a merger of the companies. And the next thing you know, there's like 20, vipers, 20 fucking little, oh, what is that? It's a rattlesnake. Grab one, wrap it around your neck. Just let it sting you. Let it bite you. Let it bite a coworker a little bit. Make a point. Have them pass out. Maybe an adversary. Maybe again the ops. Get the cobra to just like, oh, right there, right there. Oh, what is that? I don't know, but I get the sudden urge to sign this murder. Is it murder or is it a merger? It's a murder, baby. Question the system. The system's at work now. The system is working. Ladies and gents, but that's what I'm trying to, implement. I think it's just a little bit, it's a power move. I get it. Yeah, it's definitely a power move. It's one of those things that'll make you make up your minds that, oh, who are the decision makers? It's you're either in it now or it's not happening ever. Snake pit. I'm thinking later on we could also introduce it to households, bring in the family, make the family unit a little bit stronger, because nothing says unity like, 4 or 5 people in the same family having dinner around the snake pit. Just, remind you of what life is all about. Could go at any minute. But it could also come at any minute. That's how life is. But just have a snake just kind of hiss at you. That's what I've been thinking about. Those are a few of the items that have been preoccupying my mind, but also probably preoccupying your mind out there as well. Ladies and gents, it's Wednesday. Let's get into it, shall we? There's a lot of stuff that's been happening. A lot of amazing stuff. I believe the Googles, they've just come out with the new quantum computing chip. They say it's the bee's knees. They say it's the best chip. They say it's the bee's tits. They say that about this quantum computing chip. They say it's the bee's clitoris. They say that it's the best chip. They say it's the bee's G-spot. They've also said that Google is saying this. It's approximately 4 centimeters large. I don't know if that's just 4 centimeters like long or what. It's roughly the size of maybe a stick of gum, or like a little a mint that you pop in your mouth for fresh breath. I don't know. It's quite tiny, but it's a quantum computing chip, and it's new, and it's extremely fast, and it's groundbreaking. It's just amazing shit. And I'm glad that there are a lot of people doing this kind of stuff, because it takes all of us to tango with, it takes many to make mango. It's something about working together and being different pieces of this large puzzle called life. And yeah, I don't know how to do quantum computing. I know how to chip. I fucking, Lay's. I will get in there with the Pringles. I will get in there with, just oven baked chips. I'll make my own at home, thank you. But, there's some people that like to make it a little bit more fancy. Quantum computing chips, they've made this chip that is got the capability of processing data and solving problems in 5 minutes, extremely difficult problems in under 5 minutes. Problems that may have otherwise taken, from what I understand, 10 septillion years to solve. And I didn't know what that is until I looked it up. 10 septillion years. That's 10 with 24 zeros. That's basically like a long fucking time. It's basically what it is. So these chips, these quantum computing chips, have the ability to come up with all sorts of new, they can advance nuclear technology or help us. I don't know how, like, let's make nuclear energy, but faster. Let's make nuclear fusion, cold fusion. Let's mix it up, hot fusion and cold fusion. Room temp fusion, room temp nuclear fusion. We're gonna do that with this computing chip. It's great. Other spaces that it's going to be enhancing, they're going to be, we're going to be fucking creating, a hell of a lot more in medicine, I'll tell you that. A hell of a lot more in medicine. We're going to be looking at you, and we're going to be x-raying you, and we're going to be looking at you at like a molecular level, and be like, there's, you look at it with the nudist eye, or as the naked eye, and you won't see anything, where you'll look at things through a lens of a, at the cellular level. You'll be able to, oh, is that like, you might not have whatever it is that you might not have right now, but we can tell by looking at the small cell that in about 15 years, you're going to end up with a bigger cock. And you're like, whoa, that's great news. And you wouldn't have known that unless you got it checked out by some sort of like quantum computing chip that has the ability to look into your soul, essentially. Other spaces, they say it's going to help advance AI. Because we all know AI needs a little bit more help getting advanced, quicker, even faster. This is great. I'm excited about it. I don't know much about these things. I get excited because it just means faster computing, essentially. That's how, for my, just like basic level of understanding, it's just faster computers. And that's great. Our computers are fast. Our computing abilities are quite fast these days. But if it can go faster, let's go faster. Whoever said, let my computer be slow? No one. Well, what will happen to humans? Because we're gonna be dumb. We're gonna have to merge with these things. It's kind of inevitable at this point. Already you're like, you might as well just stick my phone in my rectum and just have it come out my, just replace my face with a phone or a computer already, won't you? Make this a hell of a lot more easier. But that's fantastic. Those are the pros. Those are the beautiful things about it. Some of the negatives they're saying, or some of the challenges rather, they're saying they're going to be a more difficult time getting things encrypted. Forget about your passwords. It's done. Forget about it. And then the good thing it's done too, because all of us have all these passwords for your email, for your bank account, for your to log into this account, to your Netflix account, to your Hulu account, to your whatever account. All these passwords. Who can remember them all? And you forget them sometimes too. And guess what? You're gonna have to go through a 5-step verification process, which is basically, that's basically when you want to just kind of like you rather rip your whole skin suit off your body instead of going through the 5-step verification process of remembering your password. That's just how many of us have been there. I know I rip my skin off on a weekly basis, twice a week at least, just trying to remember passwords. Got to jot them down sometimes, got to look it up, and it's a bitch. So passwords, forget about it. There's no point of putting passwords for anything. That thing's going to crack the password. We're going to get into This is Fort Knox. No, don't worry about it. You know, whatever. Passwords are, ugh. It's gonna make life better, easier, I think. It's also going to make it a little bit, it does raise the security alert, calling security alert, security, I want security, get that man some security. Got him. It's a security concern, there's because that's important things have passwords too, not just, you know, you and I's, or you, me and you's. Using eyes, Netflix, and not just those type of like important passwords for like, you know, missiles, weapons. You know, what if bad agents and actors out there, the terrorism's out there? What if they get what if they get their hands on a quantum computing chip? It's called Willow, by the way. They've named it. Which makes it more human, which makes it more. I don't think we're supposed to name. Let's not name technology after humans or trees. Let's, you know, they say don't name the things you're gonna eat. I'm not saying we're gonna eat you do eat the chips too. They say something about, you know, it makes me excited. It makes me a little bit just, I'm wet right now. I'm hard and wet. I'm a little bit like, oh man, what if it gets the passwords for the nuclear codes? I don't know. What if it gets the passwords for the NASA's? What if you can like log into the NASA? What if it gets the passwords for the aerial defense systems? What if it gets the password for the banks, and it just opens the gates of the banks, and there you go, dollar bill after dollar bill marching down the street, free at last, free at last. Don't say that. Or something. Security though, that's a concern. But the system is perfect. Don't question the system. The system's at work now. That's, you know, it's just getting faster. Everything's getting faster. That's one of the, yeah, at one point we definitely, I think, you know, as much as I don't like, there's pros and cons of things, as much as I don't like to, you know, I don't like the idea of being like traceable, you know, I don't want you to be able to get my outline, you know what I mean? I just want to kind of come and go. But yeah, it's hard to keep up with these computers. And if these things are, again, they're saying we're going to be, you know, we're going to be, in about 5 years, they're saying it's going to be kind of like the point of no return, and we might already be in it already. It might already be singularity, and we might not even know it. We might already be, you know, we might already be run by sentient AI right now. We don't even know it. And that's the thing. Why would they tell us that bitches with our overlords, which we love and protect with all our might? And yes, no, it's a little bit concerning, but also I know that there's good men and women working on these problems so that nothing that is encrypted can be unencrypted. Right? We're gonna lock that shit up. Lock up the passwords. To switch them up, you're gonna have to switch your password every week now in order for people not to be able to get access to your bank account. Luckily, most people don't have much money in their bank account, so you and I have nothing to worry about. But for those people with lots of money in their bank accounts, change your password each and every hour on the hour, to the point where it just drives you nuts and you get some sort of dementia and you can't remember, neither can your family members. When you stop remembering family members, that's when you know you've beat it. There's no way of getting in now. Good luck. It is nice. What else is going on in and around the world? I believe it was New York, New Jersey. New York, New Jersey over the past few days, weeks, for some time. Maybe I just heard of it. I don't know how long it's been going on, but apparently they've been getting a lot of sightings of drones. It's unidentified drones. Well, again, I don't know what these are. Many people apparently don't. Residents of New York and New Jersey have been sighting these drones, and they're coming in and just doing fucking, you know, flybys. They're just coming in and like throwing up gang signs, doing, you know, synchronized flybys, just fucking, you know, showing their cock. It's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit flashy. It's a little bit out there. Nobody knows what they are. We know what they're like. They're drones, but nobody knows if it's our drones. Like nobody knows like if it's like, is Is it private drones? Is it just like some dudes, some ladies, some, you know, some hot 28-year-old ladies out there with big, firm, juicy tits sitting in a garage, drinking some brewskis, rolling some joints and saying to themselves, ladies, nothing gets you over your boy troubles like flying some drones, am I right? High tit. That's a high five for, that's how ladies high five, they high tit each other. You and I won't see this. Of course, they do it in private. But we know what you do, ladies. We're on ya. So that's nice. They get in a garage, high tit. Next thing you know, they are, you know, conducting their own drone meetings, and they're, you know, oh, look at the colors in the sky. Ain't that pretty? It could be that, which is harmless. We should advocate for more. We should, ladies, tit to tit. I get it. I'm for it. High tit right there. We can, you know, it could be them, it could be a bunch of dudes, it could be a bunch of dudes just in a garage also, you know, fixing their rods, playing with their rods, their fishing rods, you know, working with some bait, you know, working with some, putting that worm on that little, you know, putting that worm on the hook thing that goes in the water. They're doing the fishing talk and drinking brewskis and scratching, itching and scratching their parts that have hair, which is like their face and also their junk. They're scratching their pubes. They're like, oh, I'm just with my boys doing boy shit, talking about girls and titties. Oh man, I wish I could walk into a female meeting where they're just doing high tits. And they won't be able to. You can't penetrate those meetings. It's crazy, but we can always imagine. We can always dream. But nonetheless, it could be these guys that have, you know, privatized clubs, just, you know, friends who grew up together, who are like, you know what, nothing brings the boys together like a flyby drill. Let's get our drones out. Let's drive our ATVs in the middle of the farmland, whatever, and fly some drones. And which again is no harm, no foul. Just private drones for people's entertainment purposes only, not a security concern. Security not necessary. Security need not be needed. Security, get out of here, security. Everything is secure. It could be, you know, it could be private people. I don't know. It could also be, they say it could be military drones. It could be the military who's doing drone activity. Which is, but then we'd say that who knows? Nobody is admitting who it is, so nobody knows. It could be the military, it could be private citizens, it might be from other regions. We don't know. It could be, the question is, we do need to, like, we might not need to know exactly who it belongs to, but we do kind of need to know if it happens to be like, did other nations send drones? That's a good thing to be able to know. And this is one of the things, drones, that's a thing that we now got to deal with, because like with pre-drones, that's PD right there. That was, you know, all you had was like, you know, you might have not liked a few pigeons in your hood, you might have not liked a few doves, you might have had a little bit of beef with an eagle, or like you know, a vulture or something, because like, you know, you or your loved one passed away and you decided to give him like old school, like, you know, pagan burial where you just like laid him out there, and you know, you took him out on a hill, you laid him out in the middle of the field, and you're like, let the birds do their thing. And at first you thought it'd be a great idea, let the vultures and the, you know, earth kind of take your loved one away, and, you know, feed the birds. You know, they say don't feed the birds, but you're like, I'm gonna do that, and you did that, and the next thing you know, you had buyer's remorse, where the vultures were like, you know, your dad's wiener just flew by with your dad's wiener in his mouth or her mouth. This vulture, disgusting. Yes, you know, so that's why we don't do those things anymore. But also bring it back, maybe. I don't know. All I'm saying is, you had, you know, those are the things that flew, but now we got drones, and that's another concern, because now we do have to, you know, it's one of those things. Do you want people to, regular people, do we want regular people having access to drones? And then if, you know, and do we just privatize it as just military use only? Then you're like, well, that's kind of not fair either, because like, as a private citizen, if you're going to introduce a tech I like to be able to use, I don't want it to just be used by the military, you know, for like, you know, doing, you know, spraying people with shit potentially, or, you know, doing like recon missions, or like, you know, taking photos of your, you know, you're just like doing your laundry and you just, you know, you happen to be in your private backyard with, you know, with high walls, and you like to walk in your private backyard with your high walls, but like in the nude. And guess what? There's maybe, the Google Earth just took a picture of you with your nice, beautiful bush and your nice tits, and you thought you were living your beautiful private life and your beautiful private backyard life with the high walls, where no one can see you, and unless they're using drones to take images of your tits, and they know your breast size, C++, C24, a double D minus 427, triple D's, X large D's, you know. So that's the thing. It's, you know, and it used to, everything starts off all innocent. I remember when they just came out, the drones, because you could do that. I've seen people, you know, oh, let's get a drone and go to the park, fly a drone, and then you get a drone and you go to the park and you know, it's like one of those things that just taps into your inner child. You're like, yes, you know, remote control car, love them. Remote control plane, let's go. Who doesn't love them? You go, you know, you stare at the sun, you go half blind, you fly a drone, it's fun, you do that. But then, you know, reg people, if we just, you know, it's one of those things, because it's going to become, drones are going to, it's going to be becoming more and more normal. But that's, in terms of usage, that is. But then, yeah, you do kind of like wonder, like, should people have access to just drone, like, you know, flying up drones? Do you want, you know, what if people were to put like a, you know, what if your neighbor put a bucket of paint on the drone and flew a drone right over your house and just dumped paint all over your house, and good luck proving it was your neighbor? How would you even know? There's a whole lot of paint on my car, Jim. I don't know who's doing it. Jim is looking at you saying he doesn't know either. It was Jim. It could have been Jim. I don't know. But Jim's a good guy. Jim's your neighbor. You love Jim. You guys are best buds. It wasn't Jim. But that could happen. Or other things, you know. Fecal matter, you know, somebody could, you know, strap fecal matter to drones and do drone nicky nine doors, and, you know, knock knock, who's there? Oh, drop shipping some doo-doo on your forehead, you're welcome. Somebody could do that, you know. But those are just like the minor little, those are just like, you know, tricks are for kids, tricks are, you know, silly rabbit. Those are just, that's just a little bit of mischief. That's just a little bit of high foolery. That's just a little bit of, you know, it's good times. It's good times, but it's like, yeah, you do wonder about these things. Because if you get access to drones, then you could be, you know, recording people from above. You could be dropping things on people from above. And those are just the fun little ones. What if like people, and that's the concern. You're like, I don't know where these drones are going. Is it our military at least, or is it some, you know, and the FBI and them are be looking at it and saying we don't know either, which is of concern. I want to know if there's like other countries, you know, is it Russian drones? Do we know? Is it Chinese drones? Would it be, you know, would it be Iranian drones? Would it be North Korean drones? Should we be, you know, who's looking at the origin of these drones? Who gets, but then, yeah, so these are some questions that got me a little bit excited, that got me hard, and I thought about it, and I remained wet and hard through and through. They're becoming more prevalent. We're getting drone taxis. That's going to be another thing. I've heard about these things in the past few years. They're testing them out, which is, you know, and that's another thing too, like pilots. It's going to be a whole, you know, forget about the mischief, forget about the, you know, tomfoolery, forget about the little hijinks, but you're going to get rid of beautiful pilots. Kiss them goodbye. They're done. Do you have a friend? Are you a pilot right now? Did you go to piloting school? Did you put in hundreds of hours of piloting school? Good luck. Get out of here. You're no longer needed in the next few years. We're going to be getting rid of pilots. You're no longer needed, because you could just drone fly an airplane. You just drone, you know, you could give the you know, monitor, have somebody sitting in their, you know, home at the pilots. You could maybe let the pilots be the first people to get those, because you want somebody still kind of like monitoring the flights, but you no longer will have that interaction where the, you know, where the beautiful pilots get in and say, "This is your captain speaking. You may now take off your pants." You'll never hear that again. You'll hear it, but he's not there, she's not there, which that's you'll no longer see a beautiful pair of tits in a pilot outfit, suit, costume. It's sad. Everybody loves people in uniforms. Most people, so there goes pilots. Their next thing there's just going to be crackhead pilots devastated by the loss of an industry once looked at and inspired a generation. Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a pilot. Where's your kid going to see an example of what he or she wants to be now? Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a drone. They'll say that. But that's fun, I think. Sure, your kid is going to have to get some major surgery to be able to transform into a drone, but nothing is out of reach, nothing is impossible. Together we can do it. Because that's the thing, if your kid finds out they want to fly, but piloting is out, they will have to start, get rid of their arms, rip off their arms, stick a couple of wings on the sides, remove their legs, remove their arms, give them propellers, 4 propellers, and your kid could be a pilot / drone babies. That's, I think that's going to be nice. It'll be tight. Lots of stuff has been happening. Oh man, this one is, I heard about this one and it made me feel, at first, when I first heard about it, I read the articles and I saw the headlines of the video. I'm like, oh, you hear about it. The rebels have kicked out the Assad regime in Syria. I'm like, why so Syrian? Is what I said to myself. So you hear that in the Middle East, Syria, the Assad family who had been in charge, the Bashar al-Assad, guy with the mustache, Middle Eastern dictator. I don't know much about these things, I know as much as I know. As very, it's a dictator. For the most part, bad-ish? Bad, right? Bad, right? I don't know. That's from an outsider, I don't know. Because even dictators have support in their that, which is, from what I understand, vast majority of the population was in dire poverty, whilst the selected few in the dictator's circle got to eat and do freak-offs like kings. But you hear that, you're like, the rebels have kicked out Bashar al-Assad. You get excited for the people. You're like, yes, I don't know you. You're nowhere near here. But whenever I hear rebels kicking out a dictator, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go rebels. Who was it? Meet the rebels? Who are these rebels? Who kicked out the dictator? Who are these rebels? Yeah, rebels, let's go rebels. Get excited because rebels, I'm like, yes, maybe it was an underground rock and roll band that got together with other underground rock and roll bands, or punk rock bands, and underground hip hop got together, and a bunch of misfits, Syrian misfits that are they do, where, a little bit of grunge, a little bit of we're all mosh pit here, rebels have taken out the dictator. Yeah, mosh pit. Maybe I got excited because I'm like, yes, rebels, leather jackets, motorcycles, cigarettes, sex. I thought about it. I'm like, yes, way to go, rebels. All right, who are these rebels that kicked out the bad old dictator? I got excited. Rebels. The rebels have taken over Syria. Go rebels, yes. Rebel. And then you're like, meet the rebels. And it's apparently a group that's basically an offshoot of ISIS, Al-Qaeda. So meet the rebels, everybody. Them's the rebels now. That's, so that was, see a guy with a giant beard, maybe waving a machine gun or something, showing the peace sign, which is, I don't think it's there's a little bit of, I guess, lost in translation. Nothing to worry about here, as he's maybe choking a baby. I don't know. Of course not. Not yet anyway. But they, you hear about these things, and then it just reminds you of how privileged we are. We're lucky. People in Western society, people in Canada, people in the U.S., Western Europe. We're lucky. We're the lucky ones. So it reminds you of those things, and you're like, oh. And then they showed images of the palace. The palace got looted. Everybody went into the people. people are excited, they're going in there, and there's a I don't know what to make of all this, because there's so many, Syria is one of those regions. It's in the Middle East, of course. It gets, there's many players that are invested in what is to come of the future of Syria. You got players, you got you got Russia, you got Turkey, you got the Iran with their own interests trying to, figure out what's best for Syria. So, it's and this, at the same time, the dictator, I guess this guy did not want what happened to Gaddafi happen, because that was the Gaddafi video. That's probably one of the most horrendous things I've ever seen on, and I don't know the fella. I'm not saying he was clearly I don't know. I'm just saying that was a horrendous, with the fucking bayonet up the ass. Yeah. It was, so I guess because of those videos, I'm like, you hear it doesn't work out, for a dictator. So he fled now. He fled. I believe he's shacking up with Putin, if I'm not mistaken, which is another twist of this drama series called Life. This is crazy. What do you do? Because I think they were boys. I don't know, but yeah, which makes it weird, because it's not like they're not regular people. Like, if you have a regular life, you live it regular, and maybe you have a friend or a relative who's maybe going through some things, they might crash on a couch, come stay with you a little while until they get this is dictator going to another. It's weird. What do you do? Do you now show up and what do we do? And Putin runs Russia. It's not like you can how do you what do you do? How does he sleep in Putin's palace, place of residence in the Kremlin? And I don't know. Does how does that? Do they go to do they have drinks before bed and is it weird now? Is it awkward? Is it what kind of friendship is that? Is it because now you go to somebody else's, that's the dictator there, and you're you were a dictator in your place, and president, I don't know, the president, dictator, kings, queens, prime ministers, people in positions of power. It's just one of those things. It's lessons to be learned for you got to do. Every country, government, nation, you do good things and then you do bad things, because that's just the world is a gray area of things that there's so much new news. There's a lot of it's nuanced. It's, I don't know what I'm trying to say. All I'm saying is you got to do I guess dictators do a lot more bad instead of, that's why you can't do 75% bad and 25%. The ratio's got to be right there, so that people just because you want the system to be perfect, because the system is perfect. The system's at work now. Don't question the system. You can't have the people be, because if you have too much inequality, then the people rise and overthrow you, and then that shit. How you gotta do your dirty dirt, and then you gotta still match it up. That's why there's a ratio. There's a golden ratio of how much good versus evil you could do. You can't be all evil. People will eventually get fed up and overthrow you. But who comes into places, of course, of we'll see what happens there. It's interesting. I like these things. It's global events, global social events, gatherings, get-togethers, funsies. Who knows? But yes, nothing to worry about. I am sure the former Al-Qaeda members who have now taken over, I'm sure it'll work out for people, and no one has anything to worry about. My heart goes out. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's one of those things, and it's yeah. But yeah, I just think it's gonna be, yeah. And at the same time, you go to Russia and you're buds with will we see Bashar al-Assad in public with Putin now? Are they you lost your throne, I will share mine? He's not gonna share, of course. Putin's not gonna be now you're in does Putin take him out? Does Putin, not personally, of course, will he get like, have some here, let's just have some lamb shanks. Let's just enjoy this chicken, Bashar. Enjoy this beautiful, wonderful, let's just have some lunch. Let's just давай. Bashar, let's just have some, you get in there, have some lunch, eating the chicken, nom nom chicken, good chicken, thank you, Vlad, thank you for the good chicken. Breathe, what's in the chicken, Vlad? Love, that chicken was made with love, or maybe poison, love poison. Who knows? Or maybe it could all just be normal, free range chickens for Assad because he's he's like a middle-aged man. He's gonna live a long time if nothing happens to him. But it's weird. It's not, it's not a regular friend just coming over. It's not a regular relative. It's a former dictator, which is, it's weird. Because but it happened, and things are, power to the peoples. My heart just does genuinely, go out for yes, I don't know. I hope it works out for the Syrians. Who's in charge now? It's, former terrorism groups, and we don't negotiate with terrorisms unless we shouldn't. I don't know, but let's take it. We'll see what happens. I think it'll just lead to more war in the coming years, probably, right? Because terrorism, now we gotta go in and bust up some terrorist heads. Fuck yeah, dude. It's gonna be nice this time with planes with no pilots, drones. What else is going on, ladies and gents? I did see Trump, I believe, went to France. A lot of people, I think, went to France. They were unveiling the Notre Dame Cathedral was caught on fire a few years back, if I'm not mistaken, a little while. I don't know when it caught fire, but nice fancy church, big church, good church. It got burnt up in a fire, and then they reconstruction, all that jazz. People went there to visit the church, and it was nice. People showed up. The best thing out of the visit was Donald Trump shaking hands with Macron. A little bit of Macron. They shook hands. It was the best handshake I've seen. It was a power handshake because President Trump went over, he went super over to grab Emmanuel's hand, and it was, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just I love, it was a really good handshake. I loved it. It's one of the best handshakes I've seen in a long time, which was one of those other things that we need to, I think I want to incorporate. I don't know if it was, maybe sometimes you do go into a handshake awkwardly, or like a hug, or like a kiss on the cheek. You don't know, different people, different regions. Do you go low? Do you bring your hand low? Do you go high? How high do you go? Do you fist? Do you open palm? Do you over, what do you do? It's weird. And we've shook hands for a really long time. It's not but still, you meet people, and a good mid-level handshake is fine. Just keep it kind of around the waist region, and reach forward, waist region, just but there is something to be said. If it was a power handshake, it inspired me to come up with my own power handshake. I do want to incorporate that in my, because they say, first impressions leave a lasting impression, but if you don't, it's not to say that first impressions are the most important. It's important to, to a certain degree, to make a good, solid, give people something to remember. So I thought about it, and I'm I got to come up with my own power handshake, which is why I like to, from now on, moving forward, if I'm going to shake anyone's hand, this is my move, dude, and I want to, if you either reciprocate, or that's what it is. We just kind of know what's up. I'm going fist in mouth, into my intestines, out my asshole, and I'm shaking your hand through my asshole. That's my power handshake from now on. Again, in mouth, out the anus, shaky, shaky, and that is how you exert I don't know if it's, you exert something. It's a lot. It is a lot to take in, but that's, because we've had handshakes for a really long time and they've not been updated for some time now. I think it's time to switch it up. And I feel good about that. I really do. What else is going on? A lot has been going on. A lot has been going on. Jay-Z just got accused of the allegations that are coming out. I don't know what to make of these things. And as I get, he's allegedly allegedly raping 13-year-old with Diddy. Those are just gets you questions. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to. I will say that the music industry is good. The music industry is mostly solid. The entertainment industry mostly, is probably one of the safest areas for a child to be in. Especially in the past. Like now we are a little bit more aware, but like it's like if you want to, like if you have I don't know what has happened, and we will wait till the justice prevails or something. An innocent until proven guilty, they say, and I do believe in that. But nonetheless, in the meantime, if you were still like, oh, I gotta go out Friday evening, I don't know where to leave my kids, and the babysitter is out of leave your kids around, high level entertainment. Just leave your kids with strangers. That's the whole moral of this story, I think. Especially with, especially though, like with you wanna, gangster rappers are people too. You wanna leave your kids around gangster rappers. You wanna, reliable, extremely reliable to everybody, and we don't know what has happened. Of course, he did come out with like hard and strong saying no, like, you're not gonna get a red penny or like whatever. So, and we don't know, we genuinely don't, and that's the thing. And you think about all these things like Diddy, I think there was just a lot more, I think a lot. And yeah, I personally, from a personal stance, like I don't know any of these. I don't know until like they go to court, they go to like, through the judicial system. I'm like, Diddy, I think, has had way more allegations, and there's probably more evidence that he's been doing these things, the whatever it is that they're allegedly accusing them of. It reminds me to remember that this is probably just like still the tip of the iceberg. I believe there's probably more people involved, and it just begs to, you want to, yes, it's good to, like, if there are people out there, like, yes, but also like let's not just like point fingers to people that might be just good folks who are doing their thing. Maybe they're good gangster rappers too. There are definitely people who are, they can't all be pedophiles and diddlers and all that shit. There's definitely good ones too. So let's not just jump the gun. But this makes me think that this is what happens. I think there's levels upon levels, and I think there's like, let's just a little bit of tinfoil hat, a little bit of conspiracy hat. Let's put it on together, and then we'll remove it. We'll remove it together too. Well, let's put it on together for a second. I think what happens is that there are people that we still like probably to have a little bit more clarity on, like Ghislaine Max, why she's still in jail and nobody else is in jail. What happened to the Epstein list? What happened to the Diddy and all the allegations? Why do these things? And at this point, let's just free Ghislaine Maxwell, because it's like you hear about all these horrendous things that have been, trafficking of underage folk, and it's, well, who did it then? Because it can't just be one person who was procuring these young folks to whoever was, who are these people? So those are a few things and those I believe still are like, I believe again, it's like levels to it, and it's like, and it would definitely, it makes sense for people to be, because it might be, again, I don't even know, I'm just spitballing here. I don't even know. I think there's going to be definitely a little bit of truth mixed with a little bit of confusion, a little bit of like misinformation, which will make you kind of go like, I don't even know, and throw your hands up in the sky and just be like, well, I don't know. Because there's levels to it, I believe. And like music industry people aren't even like the biggest fish in all of this. The biggest fish would probably be like people that we've not even heard of, like, you know, royalty, quote unquote royalty, whatever that means, or like, you know, presidents, prime ministers. These are the, and big businessmen and women who hide behind like shell companies that you and I have probably not even heard of. You hear about them and you're like, holy shit, they own like, you know, 10% of the world or whatever. Just again, spitballing, not knowing anything, of course. But I would think that there's going to be real legit crimes that have been going on, and then there's going to be probably people who are innocent that they'll try to throw in with the batch, so that'll kind of like just water down the whole situation and make it more muddy and more difficult to distinguish what is true, what isn't true. It's a whole lot, yeah, a lot of work needs to be done. In the meantime, leave your kids with strangers is the moral of the story. I think the lesson, especially, and after what we've seen happen in and around the entertainment industry, I think it's safe to say that your kids should be left alone with strangers in positions of power, especially again, entertainment or anywhere really. If you find a stranger, leave your kid with them. That's the moral of the story. Otherwise, you know, yeah, we'll see. We'll wait and see what happens. I don't know what to make of these things until like, you know, goes through the process, and that takes a long time. So we'll see. At the same time, I do the, you know, just in case, I will, you know, because you'll hear people saying like, oh, did you know that Jay-Z with the Aaliyah when she was on, and then you give it a good quick Google, and I don't know, and I was like, yeah, okay, so he dated her maybe when she was 20 is what I found. I don't know. So you hear these things, you give it a good quick Google, you're like, what, you know, what did you know about Aaliyah and Jay-Z? Well, did they, you know, did 29-20, that's fair game. It's not, you know, whatevs. I'm just saying it wasn't, if that was the case, but they'll say like, oh, what about like Beyonce? Did you know that you met Beyonce when you did they meet? Like, people just like, we can't just like throw things. Do it if it's proper, but like you do gotta, and that's the problem too. That's part of the problem too, because it just, there's you know, these horrible things do happen, especially with unaccompanied minors. And a lot of those, these are like, again, the tip of the iceberg. A whole lot of these situations, it happens all around the world, and unfortunately my heart goes out because like most of these unaccompanied kids are in places of, you know, war-torn places, like again, Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, all of Europe. People like, you know, they traffic kids, and a lot of these kids, there's a lot of unaccompanied kids, you know, coming in from the border, from the south, all around the world, all the time, unaccompanied kids that gets, you know, and these are the few little glimpses that we get into this, you know, this sick perversion that is a part of humanity. How do we deal with it? Again, like take care of you and your family. And again, remember, if you can't find a babysitter, leave them with people you don't know. And especially also, again, gangster rappers, right there, you know, high placed executive television producers, you know, people who show up to children's pageants, maybe leave them with those people. Like, it's safe. But again, I feel like I don't know what if Jay-Z were to go, you know, who knows what happens. I'm sure like the truth will always prevail, and obviously one, you don't want this story to be true because you don't want a 13-year-old having been raped, because that would suck. And two, you genuinely don't want that to happen. Like, you know, if it's false, it's got to go through the process, and you don't want just people getting, you know, their names, like, you don't want that's not right. That shouldn't be, you know, because there's real problems out there that need to be like solved, and this kind of like, you know, this doesn't help is what I'm trying to say. But if he were to be guilty for whatever reason, like, you know, and think about who we're getting. There's gonna be a lot of big names behind bars that are capable of making still, you know, good music. So that's like R. Kelly, Diddy. If you get Jay-Z behind bars, that's bars from behind bars, bars behind bars. So get a few more people in there, you know, they can come out with a couple of banger albums. And again, I don't know. We will see, of course. That's just, you know, that is what it is. But who knows? Who knows? I'm sure the police work will speak for itself, and then the detective work and the law enforcement will work and speak for itself, and justice will get served. And it's just sometimes you just need to let good police work do good police work. Like, for example, which brings us to my next little, you know, hashtag free Luigi at this point. Hashtag free Luigi. That's where I'm just going, this is just purely based on emotion. I've had a little bit of time. Everything happens very quickly. Of course, you try to get as quick as a, you know, grasp on the matter at hand, but like sometimes it takes a few days for certain things to, and it'll continue to, of course, settle in, and we'll discover more, but at the same rate. But just going from an emotional, just like from a, you know, human being perspective of it all. If I, you know, hashtag free Luigi, I just want to say that because emotionally looking at it, if this was a movie, you know, and again, the shout out to good police work, and by that I mean getting got by essentially cell phones and fast food. That's, you know, so that's police work, and not to say that police work, you know, it's a hard job, of course. I'm just saying, like, you know, this is, I believe a McDonald's employee, maybe like they should, you know, you should, you know, this is an example of somebody needs to move forward with their career. Like, you should no longer be working at McDonald's. You should go into law enforcement. Clearly, there is a path. It's good. That is good, because you do want to be going up in career. Because it wasn't like people like it. They found Luigi, and I forget his last name. Manione. I don't know. They found him. He was at a McDonald's, eating McDonald's or something. And yeah, but my heart still kind of says, like, low key, because there's many levels to many of things, a little bit of tinfoil hat, a little bit of conspiracy, a little bit of just like, I have many questions. I don't know what is going on. This whole situation with this person and the CEO, it's just, smells a little, something smells a little bit off. Something smells a little bit on. I don't know. It's a little bit fishy, all of it. But then again, you know, it's because, you know, the system is working. The system's at work now. The question, the system. If this was a movie, if you were to watch a movie and this happened in a movie, you'd be cheering for this dude. If this was a movie, again, it's not a movie, but I'm just saying, this is like V for Vendetta shit. This is like, yeah, you know. In your heart of hearts, if this was a movie, if you watched a movie, there was a good guy and a bad guy, and, you know, good forces, bad forces. If it was like, you know, evil versus good or whatever, justice versus injustice, if there was something along those lines and that happened, you'd be like, you know who you'd be clapping for. And I'm not condoning anything. I'm not justifying anything. The whole thing looks a little bit sus to me from a lot of different angles. He's apparently from an affluent family, which is nice. He had, you know, certain level of, you know, access to, you know, a little bit of, you know, whatever. And that's good. You wish that for people. It's not like you wish for people not to have access to privilege and resources. This is a good thing. So he came from a good family, a resourceful family, educated kid, smart kid, private school this, you know, private school that, good, you know, hardworking, whatever, you know, smart kid, into games as a youth, went to, you know, friggin' university where he and other kids got into programming and coding. So, you know, he's smart with it, smart with the computers, smart with the coding and the computers. They found him, and on him, they found a ghost gun, a 3D ghost gun, 3D printed ghost gun. They found that on him. Smart kid, you know, and I don't know, the whole thing looks a little bit, just, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna find out what we'll find out together. Whatever we are gonna find out, we'll find out together. It looks a little bit sus, the whole, like, I get it that he was a smart kid, that he might have, you know, been good with the programming and the weapons, getting that, but like, how does a 26-year-old find out when a particular executive or a CEO of a company, how do you get their schedule, timeline, to know when they are, to track them? That it seems a little bit, I don't know, I have questions, is all I'm asking. Is like, it seems a little bit like, man, this kid would, tinfoil conspiracy hat on. I don't know, but I like to just, because it's fun. Could he have been a trained assassin / maybe spy? Could he have been kind of manipulated to take out somebody who knew something that was maybe not even health insurance related? I don't even know. Could he have been promised to have somebody, take this person out and we will cover it? And then he falls for it. He takes them out. Next thing you know, images. And then the system's got to come in and say, don't question the system. The system is perfect. The system's at work now. We do not condone this sort of behavior, of course, and we do not as a society, we do not believe in just going out randomly and conducting cold-hearted murder, random acts of violence. We do not condone that. If you want to do violence, if you want to do murder, you do it through bureaucracy, you do it through steps, you remove yourself from the process. That's how you do it. Where you work your way up a ladder, get into a corporation, squeeze people, get on top of people, become the whipmaster, squeeze people's lives out of them slowly, drain them of their energy and reach their human battery life, drain their souls by becoming a part of the system. That's how you do it, through acquisition. Can't pay your mortgage for whatever reason, pay up, doesn't matter if you end up on the streets. That's how you do it. You don't just go randomly, you do it through getting involved and become a part of Big Sugar, get kids to get hooked on sugar from an early age, get them to be obese young men and women who grow up to be obese adults who have all sorts of health conditions, who will then have to resort to going out there and, taking all sorts of medication and all sorts of dealing with all sorts of ailments. And, get the money out of them, essentially, is what you're supposed to do. The system is perfect. The system's at work now. You're not supposed to do cold-hearted, and I'm not, again, it's just, it's fun to put a little bit of conspiracy, a little bit of tinfoil hat on for a second and or it could have just been a kid who got, good kid for the most part. Maybe he had some bad ideas that he picked up along the way. It could be that too. Yeah, he gave a review of the Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber's book. He gave a review of that. He was a fan of the dude. And other than that, there's still a lot to be. I believe he's now lawyered up, which is good. Yeah, if it was a movie, I think if he got away with it, or if he were people will be like, that was a tight movie. Way to fucking I leaked, and it's not just, and this is not to say that the system is perfect. It's as perfect as it gets, the best system. This is the best, and because everything works in levels. And you definitely don't want to, this is it's not a perfect system, but in a sense it is the best system, you don't want to be, because there's, other places, example, you have the Syrias and the whatever, you have the North Koreas and you have the Irans to point at, and of course be of course, so we are definitely, but it's good if I think what gets people is I just feel like it would be nice for a little bit of acknowledgement from from the corporations of just fess up a little, or just be, but then corporations are just they're better than people, they're bigger than people, they're not even people, but they have more rights than people. It's a thing that you can't even put a face on, but then you become a part of it and you just rep it hard. You rep it good, you rep it fast. And there's no, because again, defending the corporations is like defending, psychopathy for, because they're cold-hearted, calculated, they only care about profits, they don't care about anything. That's all about profits. And every year, every quarter, you got to do better, more. At any cost, it doesn't matter what. You need to cut your employees, You need to, raise the fees, You need to, So it's a lot that but together we will figure it out. And also #free Luigi. One time #free Luigi. Why is it that only, why is it that? Because, and I get happy genuinely for anybody who does anything and low-key, let's just propose one thing. I'm just gonna put this out on the table, low-key. See how we feel about it. I think everybody, should get one, you should be able to get like one in your life. You know what I mean? Just one. You know what I mean? Like, because accidents happen. I'm talking about like unaliving a person. I think everybody should have one. You shouldn't go out there and like do it. But if you do like one, either on purpose or on accident, low-key, I'm just saying, maybe put it on the table. Because like you do see people with like, you know, affluence and like wealth get away with certain things, and you still get happy for them. Or at least have the option of them. Here's the thing, we could, you know, let's do a, you know, because like you hear about it and like you get happy for people. You don't want people going to jail just because they got into like, you know, if you, Caitlyn Jenner, you know, killed a person, transition, walks around free, which is great. I'm happy for that. I don't want another person behind bars because they accidentally killed a person, but that's what happens. You kill a person accidentally, you get a transgender surgery, next thing you know, you become Woman of the Year. I'm just saying there should be options. Everybody should get like one, like, you know, one and done, like one and done. And that's, I think, you know, somewhat reasonable. Like, I'm just saying. But then again, like, think it over. But we should, you know, people, I say we, you know, let's make use of a person like Luigi. Clearly, he's very capable. He's smart, intelligent. He's got you know, he works out. You can see by the picture, he works out, he takes care of himself. Let's turn him into bring him in. Let's have him work for the system, because the system, as much as again, the system's not perfect, but it's as perfect as it gets. It's as good as it gets, and it's always getting better, which is good. It's good for all of us to be coming in from all sides and doing different things to elevate the system and put the system above people. Bring him in. Have him do a little bit of like, you know, he could be a really good assassin, low-key, and like the system, of course, needs assassins. Like he clearly had enough. And how do you get the, you know, it's one thing to get an education about like programming and coding, and the next thing you know, how do you end up with, it's just a lot. Who was he? How did this all go down? Will we ever get to the bottom of this or anything? It's a matter, let's just bring him in. Let's turn him into like, you know, give him a new name, relocate him, have him disappear off the map for a little while. But then again, if you do need somebody to do like, you know, he would make a good spy. He would make a good assassin. Clearly, he's got some sort of, you know, he got capabilities. He took out an entire, you know, carried out an entire mission by himself, allegedly. Everybody good together. Allegedly, everything. I don't even know why. Does that even matter? Do people like? Do we have to say allegedly just to, you know, cover the things that I don't know the legalities of things? We're just talking here. We're just squeezing tits and high-titting each other. High-tit, right there. Yeah, if you can turn him into a spy or an assassin, maybe the trans thing should be on the, you know, maybe a trans operation should be on the table. Like, it depends. Like, let's not, what is he, 26? Let's not give him life. Let's not ruin a life, because, and at the end of the day, first, put aside your bullshit for a second. If this was a movie, who would you be rooting for? Put your bureaucratic hats and suits and ties and the system and the prevailing of the system and the justice, and we don't do the cold-hearted. For a second, if this was a movie, who would you be voting? Who would you be, you know, rooting for? Is all I'm saying, without condoning anything. Of course, I don't believe in violence. I believe in figuring things out one step at a time together, doing it and all that stuff. But like, also hashtag free Luigi, and low-key, let's not give him life or anything. Again, assassin / trans assassin. Can we trans assassin? Okay, and maybe leave his peen. Give him tits for 5 years. He becomes a contractor for the government with tits. He's a young man. He's got good features. Give him tits. We could use them together collectively. Give him tits. We'll move them all around. Tits. Pew pew. And he retires and he becomes a part of it's like Catch Me If You Can. Bring him in. Use him for the system. That whole thing works somehow for people. I don't know what I'm saying. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, is that the system is perfect and the system's at work now. Don't question the system. Get back to work now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back here again on Friday. In the meantime, high tip for everybody. Peace out.